We have to meet. Yeah, people. I don't know. I'm not sure. A guess. The person that's doing it. Not part of this line. No panelists online, sir. I'm not sure. Maybe they are not online yet. But currently, yes, we should. Okay. I think one panelist is online. We can start now. It's 5:30.
All right. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good evening.
I hope you can hear me.
Well, we can hear you, madam. Good evening,
That's
ma'am.
good.
Yeah, we're going to start the
Thank
session
you.
now. Yeah, my name is Timothy Ajiboye. I'm going to be chairing this session. All right. So, can you hear me, ma'am?
Yeah,
hear-
but it's faint. I can't hear you very loud.
What about now?
Yes, it's much better.
Okay.
I'm also
Okay.
trying to adjust mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
On this panel, on this seat, we have 4 people to present. The first person is the topic is underrepresentation. Can you? Underrepresentation of female organists in Nigeria by Olaoluwa Marvelous Ayokumi from the University of Ibadan. And the second presenter is going to be topic will be environmental perspectives of the socio-cultural tapestry of Igbo music by Ijeoma Pocho. Pardon me if I don't pronounce that name very well. University of Nigeria. The third presenter will be on the topic traditional music in contemporary context. The song of Tango people of Biliri in perspective by Maikano A. Lamela, Gombe State University. And the last presentation will be Syncretism in Christian Music in Nigeria, 1990 to 2020 by Bumi Shorunke, independent scholar. So we're going to start with the first presenter, which is Mr. Ayokumi Olaoluwa Marvelous from the University of Ibadan. Yes, you have the floor, Mr. Ayokumi.
Thank you, everyone. My name is Ayokumi Olaoluwa Marvelous. So, from University of Ibadan. Talking right away on the topic, the underrepresentation of female organists in Nigeria. Organ is one of well-known musical instruments that has been in existence since in Bible days. It's a principal instrument and an instrument of sacred worship as far as Christianity is concerned, even with Christianity as far as Judaism. Now coming to Nigeria, organ as a musical instrument used in worship has been with us during the advent of Christianity in Nigeria. And the first organist looked at Nigeria, who is known to be the father of organ music, is E.T.K. Phillips, followed by Fela Showande, Ayobankole, and all the rest. So history has been very much favorable to male gender when it comes to this musical instrument. Meanwhile, musical instruments generally, they are not gender biased. But organ, maybe because organ is a keyboard instrument that uses the two hands and the two legs to operate. And they are often found in big churches, in cathedral. Organists, they are musicians, they are church musicians. The masters, the Western people they call them they are not a church musician, actually. The first organ master known over the world in music is Johann Sebastian Bach, prominent organ churchman playing organ. So he was playing in the church, and organ got to us too, and through colonialism and Christianity in Nigeria, we had organ in the church, and as I said, E.T.K. Phillips, Fela Showande, and the likes started doing that thing. History is favorable to men. Perhaps they are the most player of the instruments, and organists in the church they are known as music ministers because they partake and lead worship through the use of organ to oftentimes to play hymns and selected sacred anthems in church. Meanwhile, musical instrument is not tied to the church. It can always be anywhere because music has left the church as early as the Renaissance period. Now, in the church system, as I said, organists, they are seen as part of the Levites, part of those who lead worship in the aspect of music, and it has been male dominated from the earliest players of the organ. Now, let's go to gender disparity. Female organists are not very much mentioned, are not very much seen, are not very much known. But can we say they don't exist? Looking at statistics of number of male organists, from my fieldwork, some people will tell you that I've never seen a woman play organ before. And can we say, because somebody said he has not seen a woman play organ before, does that mean that there are no women playing organ? Some people, therefore, assume that organ playing is a male duty. It's for men, it's not for women. Many are bringing that disparity into bear, that is only meant for male gender, whereas it's not only for male gender, it's for everyone. In Nigeria, over the years, there's been, over decades, most organists known, they have been men and men and men and men. But in recent time, sometimes last year, Dr. Dike Olukoya, the General Overseer of MFM, introduced, he offered to sponsor the establishment of an organization that will project the female organists we have in Nigeria. So that's the recent development of what they call Association of Nigerian Female Organists. Now, reactions from the male organists and musicologists. Some believe that, I can see the picture of the female organist there in my slide, and some believe that we don't need this. organist, that male or female. Since musical instrument is of non-gender bias, there's no necessarily need of a female organist. And several reasons also were put to bear. But let's look at this. This is my research question in this manner. Is a separate organization of a female organist necessary? What are the prospects and challenges faced by female organists? How does this situation in Nigeria compare to other countries? So in this research, I engaged a mixed method because I use survey and I use interview. I interviewed 5 female organists, 5 male organists, 5 music directors, 5 musicologists, 5 church leaders, just to get kind of detailed information that not be one stereotype to only female organists. Now, the findings shows the following intersectional challenges identified. Men have assumed that is their space to play the organ in the church. And when any woman comes about to play the organ, like, what do you want to play? My friend is, I say, what do you want to play? What do you know you are playing there that you want to man the organ and play the organ? That's kind of a gender bias we have in that regard. People feel like, okay, women, they are not meant for this, it's for us. Unfortunately, some women too, they feel maybe intimidated by the look of the men and the body language of the men, and they want to look away from that too. So another thing that some women too, they are not ready to be committed to the rigor it takes to learn and master organ. And look at cultural expectation. Women, they are meant to be mothers. They should go and cook at instead of staying to rehearse in the church or trying to acquire skill as far as organ is concerned. And a lot of them too, they have limited access to training and opportunities. People prefer to train male gender on organ playing than to train female gender. Men have a lot of opportunities for learning and improving their skills through conferences, workshop, training, and symposium, but female barely have so before the advent of National Nigerian Female Organist by D.K. Olukoya. Some of my findings said the issue of sexual harassment by male gender, teach me organ, another thing we surface, and it's not limited to Nigeria. Now, let's look at structural barriers, patriarchal norms, and societal expectations, meaning that female, they are meant for this, are not meant for that. It shouldn't be their business, to be men, whatever, having to take care of the home, kids and all the likes. It's not normal for women to be leading when we have men. Influence on women's participation in organ musicianship. Well, even we look at it from a biblical point of view, it's a male and female that operated. So that one has to complement the other. There are aspects of emotions in music that is best expressed by women, and it shouldn't be marginalized. They should be given their own space to express their musicality. Of course, there are female who are more gifted in music, talented, and exposed than certain guys. So the population, looking at number of female organists we have, is like 90% to 10%, as it's why in Nigeria at the moment. For my findings, insight from the interview, challenges faced and strategies for navigating them. Fine, they've not been given a chance to be exposed to training. The story is now changing because D.K. Olukoya I sent out invitation to scouts for female organists in Nigeria in last year. About 25 of them came up to Lagos here. And yes, he gave them money. He encouraged them. He called them again. He asked them to go and rehearse. He staged a concert only for female organists. And it's streamed all over the world. That's a motivation. Now, nobody's bullying them because they're among their own gender. Though some make are saying that there's no need for female association of organists, since organists has no gender bias. But in the presence of men, naturally, the body language, the intimidation is pulling women away, and the fear. Some person will not want to release their wife to go and learn organ because of other things they may want to think about, And all these things too, they are challenging this. And now, D.K. Olukoya is sponsoring trainers to attend to female organisms in Nigeria. I mean, people are coming together now. And by, you know, in the first meeting they were 25 or something like that. Now, the next meeting they were 30. Now go to another meeting now, who is coming up, I think this month, next week, we're going to have like that number of them because if they come, there's hope for us. We can find limelight here and whatever. So the motivation, the support, the encouragement, and the determination. Some women will not want to nail organ. They are afraid. They feel that what do I want to do? They are supposed to say that what do you know they are doing there. So all those things, they are killing the morale of women in organ music. Now let's look at resilience and agency. Insight from interviews, challenges faced and strategies from I've seen that. Okay, that one already. So determination of female organisms to succeed is very important. They have to change their mindset too. If they're going to find help, they also have to change their mindset that they also can do it. There are graduates among the female organisms in Nigeria. There are those who are not graduates among them, and there are people that are even having their higher degrees in music among them. So nothing stops them from competing their male gender on the non-biased organ. Recommendation, strategies for gender inclusivity, awareness creation, training programs, mentorship opportunities for female organisms. If all these are put in place among philanthropists and music lovers and churches and institutions, female organ artistry will assume the global recognition that men also have. After all, we see other female organisms outside there in European world are also doing well on their instruments. Thank you for listening.
You're welcome. Yeah, thank you, Mr. Ayokunu Novelos. Let me say this. If you have any question or comments, we're going to take everything together at the end of every section. So please write down your questions and comments, and it's going to be taken once. But when you write down your question, please direct it to the appropriate quarters, the appropriate person or presenters, so that there won't be any issue. So again, going to call the second person. I want to be sure if, can you hear me online, sir, Ma?
Yes, I can.
Oh,
I can.
Umi Shorunke, can you hear me, Ma?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. Bankole right, can you hear me, please?
Yes, I
Oh. All right. We're going to call the second presenter on the topic environmental perspective of the socio-cultural tapestry of Igbo music by Ijeoma Fortu, University of Nigeria. Do we have?
Yes, I am here.
All right, ma'am. Please, your time
Yes.
starts now.
All right. Sorry, how many minutes do I have?
You have 15 minutes, ma'am.
Okay. So I start sharing.
Okay.
So please, I would like to share my PowerPoint.
Go ahead.
Okay, please go ahead, please.
Okay, can you see it?
No.
Not yet, ma'am.
How about now?
Not yet.
Okay. Well, I don't know. So it says host disabled participant screen sharing.
Oh, you just okay. Let's check, please.
All right.
Please enable it.
Let me try to. It's still reading the same message.
Oh, hold on, ma. Few seconds.
Okay.
You can try again, ma.
All right. Okay, I think.
All right.
Yeah. All right. So serious environmental challenges abound all over the world, which includes flooding, climate change, deforestation, desertification, land degradation, and others. Nigeria contends with many of these challenges. Igbo land, in particular, located in southeastern Nigeria, experiences the worst gully erosions. It is clear the anthropocentric approach, which were derived from colonization and association with the West, has failed to achieve environmental sustainability. In response to the growing need for diverse approaches to addressing global environmental challenges, this paper investigates the indigenous environmental knowledge embedded within the musical culture of the Igbo people. Igbo music reflects the culture and as such possesses a rich repository of indigenous environmental knowledge. And of course, it's not only the Igbo music that does this, other indigenous music does this as well. So unfortunately, there's a dearth of ecological studies in Igbo scholarship. Studies in Igbo music tend towards musical structure, organology, music composition, and music in the lives of the people. To fill this gap, this study aims to gain insights into the nuanced subtleties and occasional direct expressions of environmental concerns in Igbo music and how it reflects the interconnected webs of customs and social norms that define the Igbo way of life. Using ethnomusicological methods, that is ethnographic fieldwork, indigenous approach, analysis of concepts, musical structures, performance practices, and the social and cultural context of selected songs. This study explores how environmental themes and concerns are articulated in Igbo songs. The songs selected for this study are either directly or indirectly linked to environmental themes. So this is the position of Southeast Nigeria. So we examined some concepts. The environment, the concept of the environment, which is a complex concept that includes physical, biological, chemical, and human elements. It encompasses both natural and human-made factors. The interaction of these components not only shape ecosystems and human societies, but also provide essential resources and support biodiversity and ecological functions. However, environmental pollution, driven by wrong usage and disruption of natural systems, leads to problems such as biodiversity loss, deforestation, desertification, and climate change. The indigenous ecological environmental knowledge refers to the traditional understanding, practices, and values developed by indigenous peoples through centuries of close interaction with their local ecosystems, rooted in physical, social, and spiritual connections to the land. This knowledge includes detailed insights into plants, animals, weather, and sustainable resource management. A core belief in Igbo culture is that natural elements such as hills, rivers, valleys, caves, animals, and plants are inhabited by spirits and therefore deserve respect and reverence. This worldwide view fosters a deep sense of environmental respect and responsibility. It encourages moderation and care in resource use, as dishonoring these spirits is believed to bring harm to individuals and the community. The traditional and contemporary musical expression of the Igbo people of southeastern Nigeria is characterized by rhythmic complexity, call and response patterns, and musical instruments. It is a medium for carrying out cultural, religious, and social activities. So this study is anchored on two Igbo axioms. Proverbs encapsulate wisdom derived from experience and have significant philosophical, cultural, and moral weight. The first one is akobije, which indicates that wisdom is not static or innate. It is something acquired over time through movement, experience, and engagement with the world. In a world that is increasingly interconnected, this Igbo axiom underscores the timeless truth that growth and understanding come through exploration and experience. Wisdom in the journey of life and relating properly with the inhabitants of the environment will ensure environmental sustainability, individual and societal well-being. The next one, we're going to look at is Ocha Bute, Ochage Bute. This proverb gives the imagery of a crop, whether it is ready or not to be harvested. It sends the relentless. Sorry?
Yeah, I think you are referring to some music.
Yes.
You are not changing your slide. We are not seeing.
Yes, I'm coming to that in due time. Yes, I'm going to do that.
All right.
It represents the relentless pursuit of success, which is often realized in wealth and power at all costs, and speaks directly to impotence, moral compromise, and the get-rich-quick mentality that disregards values, laws, consequences, or ethical boundaries. The result, not the path taken to achieve it, is the most important. So Ocha represents an honest way and Ochagi a dishonest path to success. The end justifies the means. It is a cynical proverb that laments the reality of the society. Apart from endorsing this view, this axiom serves as a moral alarm, a warning that when both the clean and the corrupt are celebrated equally, society risks moral collapse. So for environmental matters, exploitation of the environment for immediate gratification portends environmental degradation as well as social attrition. This ecomusicological study contributes novel theoretical frameworks and opens new pathways for examining the intersection of music, environmental sustainability, and societal dynamics through a transdisciplinary lens. So now we will hear the sound of Igbo music,
It's not playing, ma'am.
Oh,
really the speaker.
Oh, really? Okay.
Or volume. Check the volume of the speaker.
It's at the loudest. Oh, okay.
Hope he's not mute.
Well,
you didn't? Okay.
I will try this one.
Hello,
Can you
ma.
hear this?
Hello, ma.
Yes.
Can you
Yes.
unshare? Then when you're about to reshare, you'll find a place that says add sound.
Okay. So I will
Unshare.
unshare. Okay.
Yes, unshare your screen.
Okay. I don't know whether it's on sharing.
Stop sharing.
I mean, stop sharing.
Yes, I got that. Let me see. Okay, I've seen that.
Yes. So try to share again.
All right.
So you would see by the side, you'd see something about sound.
Share sound. Oh yeah, I've seen it.
Yes.
So so it's on mono. Optimize. Which one should I put? Share sound, right?
Just share sound.
All right. Okay. Okay, I guess I will work from here. Can you hear it?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So that was the second one. So can you hear this? please?
Sure. Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so I think you have heard it. So we'll continue. We can see that
You have 2 minutes, Mama.
the potent. Sorry, how many?
2 minutes. Ma.
All right. Okay, you can see the song text. Unfortunately, we can't go through all of them now, but so you can see that natural environmental images are bound in the song text and are used to sometimes to address societal issues. And then in the two song texts we saw here, they address environmental sustainability, and you could see the theoretical framework of the Igbo proverbs coming into play, wisdom, and then ochagi, whether it is ripe or not, you get wealth at all times or get the power at all times. So now, because of want of time, I will just go to conclusion. In the song text, you can see respect, the reciprocity, wisdom, insights into environmental relationship, mainly as a result of, I call the deep insight and wisdom. This study by fostering connection between humans and nature, cultural heritage, thus facilitating multifaceted connections, intellectual, cultural, historical, and physical. Despite the global shift towards capitalist and individualistic values, which have contributed further in weakening indigenous Igbo environmental beliefs and practices and undermined ecological and societal sustainability, these indigenous concepts persist, though in more subtle forms. The current environmental crisis facing the global communities has often been treated merely as technical problems that require policy intervention. Attempts to take on this crisis have largely focused on its symptoms rather than addressing the underlying causes. It is imperative to understand the root cause, which is the prevailing consumerist seeking that regard the natural world as mere property, akin to ocha, bute, ochagi, bute. Accordingly, it becomes imperative to incorporate perspectives that conceptualize the environment in different ways. The indigenous communities, including the Igbo, which have historically engaged the environment through principles of respect, solidarity, and complementarity, attitudes that maintained the health of the environment and sustained the societies over centuries, is an example of such. Addressing the challenges of environmental degradation demands a deeper recognition of humanity's inherent interconnectedness. and the application of principles such as justice, consultation, and the oneness of humanity. Thank you.
You're welcome, and thank you. All right. And as I have said before that, if you have any comments or question, please let's put it down. And after the whole, after we have done with the presentations of the, presenters, we're going to take the questions and comments together. Thank you. You are welcome. So the next person on the program is on the topic traditional music in contemporary context, the song of Tango, people of Biliri in perspective by Maikano A. Lamela from Gombe State University. Do we have anyone? Is the person around, please? It's not around. Are you? No, she's not. Okay, now let's move to the last presenter, which is going to be talking about syncretism in Christian music in Nigeria, 1990 to 2020 by Bumi Shorunke. You have the floor, ma'am.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, ma'am.
Yeah, I will start presenting my topic now, syncretism in Christian music in Nigeria from 1990 to 2020. I want to try to share my slide now.
All right.
I think the admin will have to accept.
Okay.
Please, can you see my screen?
Not yet. Hope is not complaining.
I clicked on share. Can you see my screen now?
Not yet, please. Yeah,
Can you
we
see it
can
now?
we can see it now.
Yeah. Okay, I want to start with the introduction.
No,
The
it's not.
purpose of... Hello? Can you hear me?
Okay, now it just came now. Yes, continue.
Yes. Yes, the purpose of this research is to analyze and discuss how Nigerian Christian musicians have been able to syncretize elements of Nigerian culture into the Christian music. We all know that Christianity is not indigenous to Nigeria. It's a foreign religion which was brought by the Portuguese and through the Anglican churches, Methodist churches, Catholic, and Nigerians, we accepted this religion and we have been able to practice it. Not only was the religion accepted, some churches like United African Methodist Church, they created their own form of Christianity by blending cultures from Nigeria within the concept, the Nigerian culture with the European culture. Because I would like to go back into history to give a background into my topic. When Christianity came to Nigeria, some Nigerians they were kind of not fully they were skeptical in accepting the religion fully because Christianity brought about a few limitations in terms of you are expected to be married to only one wife if you want to be a member of certain churches. So because of this, churches like United African Methodist Church that I talked about, they created their own kind of Christianity that will not isolate anyone based on their social standing. that would be able to allow everyone to be part of the church, irrespective of whether they are married to 5 wives or not. So that's just a brief background into what I'm talking about. Then when it comes to the aspect of music, Nigerian musicians, because Christianity is not singing Christian music. The purpose is not to entertain, it's not for social purpose. The purpose of Christian music is to preach the gospel. We all know that the purpose of Christianity, like I said, is to preach the gospel through the word of God, which are written in the Bible. And through the Europeans that brought Christianity, they also came with it, not just the Bible, hymns like list of texts that would support the preaching of the gospel. And the purpose of singing in the church is to worship God and to praise God. So when Christianity came to Nigeria, the songs had been limited to the church, where the purpose, like I said, is to praise and worship God. But when it started leaving the church and it came into the society, they tried to fine tune it into what will not be mainly just to worship God, but to also to entertain. And that's the purpose of my topic. So I would like to read my brief introduction. Like I wrote in this introduction, I said, every society has its own definition of music. The culture of a society often determines what is appreciated as sound of music and what is not. This presentation claims that between 1990 and 2020, Nigerian Christian music has been syncretized with other aspects of Nigerian culture. It has been combined with native instrumentation, popular music genres, um, popular music genres and performative theater in a bid to worship and to entertain at the same time. The question now is, to what extent has Nigerian Christian music been able to spread the gospel? I would like to go deeper into clarifying the concept syncretism. Syncretism is the amalgamation or attempted amalgamation of different religious cultures or schools of thought. It can also be defined as the merging of different varieties of word during the development of a language. Typical religious syncretism, like other cultural processes, leads to bringing together of forces with different elements. So sometimes these elements might not be of the same quality, might not be of the same, like Christianity, like I said, and the cultures of Nigeria, they are not like the same, but they have disagreeing features. So the essence of syncretism is to blend these features in a way that the two would go together with without strife, just to create what is acceptable to a culture. And what syncretism creates at the end of the day is a new culture. So to my next slide, I've talked about earlier about the early Christian music in Nigeria, and this is further talking about the sources of music. The sources of Christian music, they are hymn songs. Most of them are they are created by Beethoven, who is a popular composer of Christian songs. And we also know Bach. Bach is also an European Christian composer of Christian music and liturgies. Then I'll go to my next slide. I have analysis of lyrics in Nigerian Christian music. I chose this particular song by Infinity. Infinity is a Christian group, a group of men that are identified as Christian musicians. They sang a popular song, which is called Olori Oko. In this popular song, they use the different words that cannot be classified as Christian words. And some of the words are not, according to what Olaiwale said, he said the lyrical landscape of the gospel music is peppered with Yoruba proverbs and religious metaphors. I would like to talk a little bit about some of their lyrics which are not in line with Christianity. Like this one, they wrote, Àìsílẹ̀ ológbò ló mú eku ṣakọ. Like we all know, like in Yoruba culture, some of these words are used as traditional words, which often sounds like incantations. But for a Christian group to adopt these words and use it as lyrics in what they project to the world as Christian music. It seems like a kind of blend, an attempt on their own part to blend this culture, the Yoruba culture, with Christianity. While it is not certain the type of genre of music that this kind of song can be classified to. The essence of my research is to go further into this type of textual dynamics that in which cultural words like this, like texts in cultures, are used to um, to spread the gospel, to color Christianity in a way that is acceptable to the society. I would also like to go further by talking about instruments. Most Christian music is they involve the use of every instrument, local instruments like gong. Some of them are shekere. Like gong is a traditional Yoruba talking drum, and the purpose of this talking drum is to when we talk about Yoruba kingdoms and cultural arrangements, talking drum has a different function from what some musicians use them for. So, for a Christian musician whose purpose is to spread the gospel and to create a kind of a sober mood in whoever listens to music, using every instrument like go and shekere and some other instruments that doesn't really project the purpose of preaching the gospel, it tones down the purpose of Christianity, and it heightens the need to be entertained rather than worship to elevate a person's faith or to take them to the spiritual heights which they aim to be. And I also went further to talk about theatrics in Christian music, like some of the Christian music the performative arts in Christian music does not project the purpose, like I said, of preaching the gospel, while choreography, some different performances that does not correspond with the purpose of the church are being used in a bid to express culture or to be able to be on both sides of the culture and on the Christianity side. So I also went further to talk about taking the music from the streets back to the church. Like in current times, when in church services, we see how Afrobeat sounds, Afrobeat lyrics are being used to create a kind of worship songs, like even in dancing steps, performations, how they perform Christian music does not really go in line with the purpose of Christianity. So my idea here is that the attempt to syncretize might be leading to development of another kind of culture, a kind of popular culture which has not really been named, which has not really been defined. So this is just a sketch of a paper that I'm trying to expand on, and I decided to present it at this conference to hear other people's opinion about this, my idea. Thank you, and that's all. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're welcome, madam. And we have a round of applause for the presenter. Let me reiterate this again, that if you have any question, please write it down. And when time comes, we're going to ask together. So do we have the last presenter? Do we have? Okay. Somebody is raising up. Somebody is raising up.
It's the cost of.
Is the cost? Okay. So the last presenter is not on seat. So yeah, we can now take questions and answers. You have a question? All right. Any other person? You have a question. You have a question. So one.
I also have some.
All right.
I also have questions, please.
Maybe we should start with you online. Sorry. Can we have your questions?
Okay.
And your
All
question
right.
is directing to
My-
who?
Yeah, to both of them eventually, the first presenter that is talking about female organists, actually I heard him say that instruments are not gender sensitive, but I do know that in many African cultures that musical instruments where perhaps they're getting now not to be gender sensitive, but now I know that a woman was not allowed to play the flute oja in Igbo culture. And then certain types of membrane drums, they are not supposed to play. And then if you go deeper into the cultural implication, you see it's not even just about music. It's about what these instruments represent. So, but we can now see that gradually those connotations of the past are being forgotten. For instance, the flute in some cultures resembles the male genitalia, and women were not supposed to handle it that way. That is one aspect. The other one was that women's faces, that's in another culture, women's faces are supposed to be beautiful. When you blow on those instruments, it distorts the face of the women, making them not beautiful. And then the membrane too, has also the connotation of not being clean because it is the membrane of an animal that was killed and skinned, and then So I think that was in the past. I think it's good to look at these perspectives before now going ahead. Then on the second presenter, sorry, please, I would like it if you can repeat. I don't have the title of the paper, So
Syncretism in Christian music in Nigeria, 1990
all right.
to 2020, 1990 to 2020.
Okay. So actually this is a very wide topic, and I don't know whether you'll be able to do justice to that. It may be good to focus on a smaller area and then to choose a particular type of music, as even gospel music, there are so many types of music of the church that is used in the Christian worship. You have as many of them as you have the different genres of music that exist in the Nigerian music arena. So it may be good to choose a smaller area, choose certain aspects or a musical element, and then discuss them so that you will have a good one. Then again, talk about preaching the gospel. Sometimes music is not meant to directly preach the gospel. It sometimes could be used as a medium to provide correct entertainment, So because the presenter harped on the correctness of the gospel, and that. So I'm also suggesting um to also consider this other aspect. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Ma. Can we have all the questions first? So please jot down your questions. I'm talking to the presenters. Jot down your questions so that you will answer at the appropriate time. Thank you. Yeah,
Yes.
you have the floor, sir.
Yes, thank you very much for these wonderful presentations. My question is to Bumisho. My name is Bankole, right? All right. My question is to Bumisho. While you were presenting, I was sort of like giving context to, the songs that you talked about, and then within the context of syncretism, Christianity, and like you said, preaching the gospel. I just basically got thinking that what how can we begin to think or rethink about the medium of communicating the gospel? Is the presence of syncretism a disservice to the gospel, or is it a necessity as a result of the contemporary realities that we have come to stumble upon in that sense? And you know, when you mentioned the Louis Co, and then you mentioned incantations alongside it, I got really curious to understand how we can begin to make a very clear delineation between incantations and proverbs. Incantations and proverbs. Incantations and Yoruba idioms. Because while these two what's called mediums of expression are they are somewhat interchangeable, and I mean interconnected rather. And then it's important for us to begin to see how we can delineate. And also, when it comes to language, there is when language is used, there is a purpose for its use. So that also is there a way we can also understand the purpose for the use of these varieties of language and how it helps us to, in quotes, preach the gospel or evangelize in that sense. And yes, I also agree with Dr. Ijoma, who said that, you know, some Christian songs are just there to entertain, in quotes, because let me speak on the very popular context now, because, you know, in churches, you tell us not to listen to worldly song, then Christian artists should give us what we can listen to or what we should listen to, right? So, you know, this is me just providing a very, you know, light context to it. But I believe it's important for us to begin to see how we can delineate between what is incantation and what is proverbs, what is incantation and what are idioms within the context of Yoruba. Thank you.
All right. Then hold on. You're going to respond when everybody asks their question. So, how did I give the? Okay.
Somebody is online.
I know.
Thank you.
Our online viewers, please, or participant, or you know, viewers, please hold on a little. We're going to call you.
Ijoma, I don't know if you are there. You can hear me clearly. I want to interrogate your paper from the angle of eco-criticism theory by Sherry Grosfelty. The topic before me says environmental perspectives of the socio-cultural tapestry of Igbo music. Now the context of enviro there is eco-critical to me. And then from your presentation, I picked Azu, which is fish from the poem you projected in Igbo, just opposing that with English interpretation. And if Asu means fish, please follow. And then you also said Ngaka Ndobere Nakuku Mmeri, that is the bangle I kept on the river bank. Now I pick river again as element of environment. Now, is fish and river, of course, good to mention things from the environment, enough to do justice to the other independent variable from your topic, which is the socio-cultural tapestry of Igbo music, because you need to define very well what are your dependent and independent variables from your topic. If and as I can see, I think the socio-cultural tapestry of Igbo music is your independent variable here. So fish and then river, just two elements of from the environment enough to do justice to your topic, or do you really have more from the music that you have sampled? So I need to know that. And also, you also mentioned Singilima. Now, and I say, is Singilima both Igbo and English, or have the same equal meaning in English and Igbo? Because you gave Singilima as Igbo, but you failed to give the interpretation of Singilima in English. So you need to look inward for that one also. And then I say that I don't know how many songs you have, but just two songs enough to do justice to environmental perspectives, because I can see sample one with song one, sample two, song two. Or is it that you have many other songs but that you are unable to like project because of the limitations to slides presentation? If the answer is no, please, I would like to recommend that two song samples are not enough to do justice to your paper. For Bumi, I don't know if you are there. You talked about syncretism, and I say that sorry to say this, but I say it is ambitious. That is a larger than life or a huge scope, judging from your topic, which says syncretism in Christian music in Nigeria. Look at the domain, you say Nigeria, and then look at syncretism from the angle where you are coming from. It's a very long scope. And I say, what about the question of Yoruba Christian music, the question of Igbo Christian music, the question of Hausa Christian music, and other Christians from polyglot nature and culture situation of Nigeria, which of course originally should inform many and different types of Christian music that we have in Nigeria. So where does the question of syncretism comes in, or what is the trust of the paper, or what is the place of cultural embellishment? For instance, now, if I should pick Aske, this popular Hausa song, Aske is a popular Hausa song by Sadia Bala Muhammad Gaba, okay, commonly known as Sadia. He picked Aske, his topic of the song, as light, okay? That light is cosmological, not even from the environment from which you are picking. And then he wrote something that is away from what is eco-critical, okay? Now, if you are talking about Hausa Christian music in Nigeria, I think you will be doing a very nice job. And then you look at the syncretism in Hausa Christian music. If it is Yoruba you are talking about, you say Yoruba syncretism of Christian music, then you can then look at Gogon and some other aspect of musical instrument that is Afro or that is African, that is brought into Christian Yoruba songs. Of course, that one will be doing justice to syncretism in that wise. But looking at syncretism holistically, I think it is ambitious. And then the presenter that talked about the underrepresentation of female organists in Nigeria. I was not in when the presentation was on, but I will say this. If you are talking about underrepresentation of female organists, are you saying that there is that of female organists, or female are not encouraged to become an organist or to be trained as organist? Because if you compare, when we do a contemporary studies of Nigerian situation and abroad we have female organists, plenty female violinists and pianists. So if in the Nigerian situation we are not having female towing that line, then we should look at a lot of factors militating or debilitating against that. And I think, who is that person that underrepresented them? If we don't have female organists, or who goes to study organ, then it is sure that we have lack of female in that towing that line of music. So I think you should be talking about encouraging women to take courses to become organists. So who to blame now for the underrepresentation? That is my topic. So I don't know if your paper is addressing who to blame for the underrepresentation. I rest my case. Thank you, ma'am.
I hope we are losing yeah, so I'll take it from where it stopped, because I have I'm from Anglican. Do you understand? And we make use of organ. So when he was talking, my mind just went back home straight. Because this is a personal question I've been asking myself, that why is it that we don't even have a large number of female, playing organ and all of that? But we now discovered that it's a matter of personal interest. Not because they are not encouraged, one, not because they are being intimidated, because these are this during your presentation, you mentioned intimidation, lack of access to training. No, that is not true. Then you equally mentioned disparity. No,
That's not true.
are we together, please? So it's a matter of personal interest. And so if I am not interested in something, that does not mean I am being silenced or not being encouraged. You know what we are trying to say. So please just look at this area very well, because that title, to a very good extent, is the kind of is bringing up, or let me say, a kind of the outlook by gender biased outlook, as if you are antagonizing a particular sect, saying, why are you not representing, the just get me right. It's now giving us a kind of biased outlook. That is what I'm trying to say. So please look at a way you can just do something about it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. So the speaker that spoke on syncretism, that's a blend of Christian culture with, Christian music with other forms of music that we have around us. There has been a question that we've been asking in the music classes. Do we actually have what you call worldly music? That is a question that has been raised over times, because you always believe as a Christian, you are singing a worldly music and it shouldn't be. Now, coming to the area of we talking about syncretism, blending cultures, blending forms of music together. I don't know the name of the man in front. He was trying to talk about looking at the border between what we could call contemporary music, and I think he was trying to provide a relatable example that we can easily recall amidst us. Now, there is when he was talking about preaching the gospel with music, with songs, and the life of the minister, how we can present it. My question is this: because we are in the contemporary times, and then individuals want to go along with the tide, it influences the kind of music that we sing, even in churches. There are songs you sing in church today that will not, let me use the word, motivate the members of the church to even sing along, dance, or whatever. Now, let me cite the example of Gaze Baba, his recent song with Lawrence Oyor. That's why I said the relatable example that we can go to. The young man said he's singing Afro gospel. When we look at the origin of Afro music itself, can we actually say the music he's singing is an Afro gospel music? What is Afro music itself? You should go that line to look at Afro music. Now, he said he is blending gospel music with Afro form of music. In the real sense, do we have a form of blending in that the form of music he sings? His dressing, does it really put? Because if you are to do a criticism of music, we look at the texture of the music, the melody, the rhythm. We look at even his own personal, we look at the analyzing the video of the music set. His personal dressing, does it portray that of Afro musician? I'm not crucifying whether his dressing is good or bad. No, that's not my own to do. What I'm saying is, the real syncretism we are talking about, the real blending of the music that we're talking about, does it really portray the culture? Is it limited to the instruments that we are using in the music? Of course, from time memorial, African culture, African singers have their music, from high life to hip hop to whatever. We have our instruments rather that we use for our songs. Before the adventure of all these guitar, and there are local guitars, local keyboard and others that we use. They may not be what is used today. So where do we draw the borderline in this syncretism, in this blending of two forms of music that we have? Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you so much. We have, let's take online before we take a question. Sorry. We have someone online that wants to ask a question or two? Samuel.
All right. Thank you so much for the presenters and the people who have actually given one comment or the other. I would have loved to ask on the syncretism, but I don't want to overflow the issue. So let me I would just say that to the presenter that if you conceptualize your syncretism very well, and then like I also borrow what someone said that Nigeria is wide, and so you might want to look at Yoruba syncretism so that you can be safe from what Bankole asked the other time about delineating the difference between proverb and incantation, so that you won't say incantation is proverbs. And then so because we have AIC, you said Christian music, we have AIC which uses proverbs a lot in their liturgy, and they don't see it as anything traditional. They still see it as Christian music. So that's what I want to say. And then my question will go to Mr. Olaoluwa, the underrepresentation of female organists in Nigeria. Thank you so much for bringing that on. And I want to thank you also for letting us know the difference between organ. Now, I know some people call organ piano. Some people say piano is organ, organ is piano. So no. I think thank you for also telling us what organ. But my question would be this way. In Nigeria, for instance, organ playing is limited to the church space. What I mean by that is that, for instance, keyboard playing, other instruments you can find in other spaces, you can find in the hip hop space, popular music space. But when it comes to organ itself, it's an instrument that's limited within the church. So, and if we go to the church, you could actually also talk about how female, especially when it comes to leadership, are not given chance. So don't you think that that is also one of the things that limits females to take the organ? For instance, we don't have plenty female preachers, although the Pentecostal will argue with me and say there are plenty female preachers within the Pentecostal circle. But organ, for instance, you hardly find organ amidst the Pentecostal circle. Organ as an instrument is within the Orthodox Church, and this church, they still follow the principles of women are not supposed to lead in church. And don't you think that's also a factor that affects the underrepresentation, like you said, about female organists? I know someone also talk about choice, but do we have female priests? How many female priests do we have today? And organ, they know it as things that is always on there that controls female leadership, choir leadership. Let's look at that also. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. We'll have another question from Mr. Ayokuno. So after each question, there will be a response.
All right, thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. Before I react to my questions, I feel I should also talk about this topic, syncretism in Christian music in Nigeria. Well, it's just to buttress more on what others have mentioned about you looking at the scope of your work very well, because this topic is very, very broad. In fact, let me say you cannot finish it. So I one time wrote about something like this. I call it trend in Nigerian gospel music. I narrowed down to only one gospel artist. I used Mike Abdul. And that time I was addressing Morire. You know, he was talking about a gospel Fuji. So I'm now looking at how gospel is Fuji, truly. So I developed a kind of a framework for it. I call it a SPCF. Source, purpose, content, and feedback. So I use that theory to, as a yardstick that you can use to check if actually you can say this one is truly a gospel music. As someone mentioned here, gospel music is not limited to preaching. Although if we go by the word gospel, good news, evangelism, good news of Christ. Yeah, but is that the only thing about Bible? What about praise, what about merriment? Everything is there in the Bible. And if truly the word of God is to convey a message to ourselves, our Bible says truly that we speak to ourselves in psalms and in spiritual songs. That means it's just a medium. As far as gospel is concerned, music is just a medium, and it can take content from wherever angle that affects Christianity and Christian practices. So I'm still thinking, as someone mentioned here, that please narrow it down so much so that you can actually go deep and bring out something new from that interesting topic of yours. And from your presentation, I observed what I can call is it generation of parallelism. You assume some things. You know, it's not very scholarly enough to assume some things. At times, you have to open things up to a scholarly view. You just not your personal opinion, but you have to reference certain literatures and view of others. Then you justify your point, and that will be a better approach. Thank you very much for that great work.
Thank you, Mr. We have one more person to ask a question. So after we take this rest.
All right. Hello, everybody. I hope you can hear me. My question again is directed towards syncretism in Christian music in Nigeria. And I want to look at it from the perspective of the gospel being knowledge, right? And the fact that one of the best ways of transferring knowledge and evangelism, looking at evangelism as transfer of knowledge, one of the best ways of transferring knowledge is to make knowledge relevant to people's lived experiences, right? To people's cultural context. And I just wanted to direct the conversation to that angle. And I would ask that we look at it. If we're looking at it like that, then syncretism as it stands may not entirely be a bad thing, right? It may be, I would say that maybe we should encourage it. Maybe we should encourage it as a form of adaptation so that the contents, that we're trying to, or that the musician, that the preacher in question is trying to pass is culturally relevant, is relatable, like the other scholar mentioned. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to point out to.
Thank you. Can we have a response? We're going to start from Mr. Olaoluwa Marvelous Ayokumi. Your response, please. Okay. Please, just 5 minutes.
All right, thank you very much. My topic, that's the underrepresentation of female organists in Nigeria. Actually, I'm looking at the challenges and prospects. That's what my topic covers. So it's not saying that it's not pushing the blame to either side. Maybe it's from the female organist or to the male organist. No, it's checking the both sides and see is it true that they are underrepresented and why? Then what is the way forward? And from my findings, all I said as regards their percentage, percent of female organists we have at the moment, and compared to the one of the male counterparts, and their responses as far why female organists are scanty compared to male organists. It's just my data. It's not my opinion that this is what caused that or what caused that. As far as some people who are not interested, perhaps because they assume that it's a male duty, and some who just feel that they are not interested, and some who have been bullied or been harassed, and they feel like, let's leave this thing for them. No, some are being victimized. My findings can assure you that we have female organists that are quite right of their churches. We have. Yes, they are not. They are very low percentage compared to male counterparts, but there are women who are leaders even in Pentecostal churches. We have them, and organ used to be a sacred instrument in the sense that basically used in church, but nowadays that's gone beyond that. And for example, let's look at the University Canada of Dawe. University Canada of Dawe. There's organ there. Organ accompany music like Omoniresi. Organ accompany Sugar Daddy. Now organ accompany NEPA. All these songs, they are typically secular music, though they are heart music. And I've been in a concert, not even one concert, where organ was played in a concert hall.
not in the church at all, totally out of church. So music has left the church, as I said in my presentation, during Renaissance period. Music has left the church. In the medieval, of course, it was typically church thing. But from Renaissance to date, it has been, both in the church and outside the church. So you can't streamline organ to church use. However, my findings also show that most of those who use organ in this contemporary days, they are actually Orthodox churches, Anglican, Methodist. But I also found CAC, I'm a respondent, CAC, having organ. Yeah, both across Nigeria. We also have even Redeem using organ now. And we have also a deeper life and also like that. So not only Orthodox, but not many Pentecostal churches use organ as an instrument. Some use it as just a voice on a keyboard. But most of them, they have it as what they have in the they order the set on keyboard. Thank you very much.
Can we have the second presenter? Bumi.
Yeah.
Right. No. Are you the second presenter? No. You are not.
Yes, I am the second presenter.
Ijoma, all right. All right.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you for the question.
Yes, ma'am.
Somebody asked whether that I had few music to make the claims with which I am. You are right. I didn't even have enough time to present the few I had brought for this presentation. I have tons of music to show for this, and then the one, that particular music, it's Azu Singelima, Ifolombwakamu Singelima, that is the response. As you know, very often, these phrases sometimes, in short, Singelima is not English, it's not Igbo either. It's just onomatopoeic language and onomatopoeic phrase that fills in the music, that makes the music, that fills in the music for artistic purposes. Even it should have even come at the end, because at the end of that song, you had the fish swallowing the girl, just that sound. And then you cannot translate that. It's just the sound of the process, the swallowing action. Okay. So we have lots, of such music. Some of them are fairy tale, some of them are music that accompany the fairy tale. Some of them are dance music, and so on and so on. There are just many of them, but I could only present a few. Yeah. I hope that answers your question.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. All right. Yes. Yes. All right. Thank you, ma'am. The next person to respond is Bumi Showroom, right? All right, ma'am.
I want to appreciate everyone for your feedback on my paper, and especially the fact that the topic is quite ambiguous.
What happened to your mind?
In Nigeria, because Nigeria is a multicultural country. I want to appreciate the person that gave the idea of SPCF. I think this would help me to actually shape my research to focus on the key points, like the source, the purpose, the content, and the feedback. Also on the fact that idioms, proverbs, and incantations, although these words they are used interchangeably because of all the Yoruba idioms and proverbs are being projected like incantations which are used by traditionalists. So I want to appreciate everyone, like I said initially, and I will take this feedback and restructure my paper. Thank you, everyone.
You're welcome, ma'am. If I may say this, I don't think anybody is asking question about. If I may say this, the purpose of criticism of any paper or presentation is for it to get better, not to, a tongue lash or do any some sort of, do you understand what I mean? So, and I want to appreciate everyone that have contributed to the presentations. And if I may say one or two things as well on the syncretism, about the lyrics of Aimasi Abi, I Sile Olombo. In Yoruba, we have Owe, we have Ashamoro, and we have Ede, we have Akonloete, we have Ofo, we have Ayajo. Can you hear me, ma? All these have their meanings and what
I can hear you.
And they have what they sound. So in the case of Olorioko singing I Sinle Olombo, it's just an Ashanyoro, like describing or explaining or kind of, saying some proverbs. You understand? Proverbs and incantation are very far apart. Ashanyoede, Ayaloede are very far apart from proverbs. So you are going to shape your paper towards that. Also, gospel music is not a genre of music. Gospel music is not a genre of music. Gospel music is gospel itself is good news. The music aspect of it is when we say we are praising or worshiping or we are, singing to praise God. So gospel music is not, what I want to say is gospel music is not a genre of music. We have different genre of music, and gospel music can come in any form. Let me just put that. It can come in Afro. It can come in Juju. It can come in Fuji. It can come in nightlife. It can come in jazz. It can see. So we have so many genres of music, and gospel music can come in any form. And instruments used in gospel music are not limited when it comes to our part of the world. Because if we say we want to promote our culture, it doesn't disturb gospel music. It doesn't disturb us, singing praise to God through our culture, because this is where God created us to be. So I want you to note that as well. Dancing, choreography, and all sorts. So far, if it, praises God, I think it is acceptable. All right. So that is my little contribution on that. And for our brother, Ayokundun, I want to appreciate Dr. D.K. Olukoya for, helping females to, come into limelight playing organ. All right. And when we are talking about organ sound is not necessarily playing organ. Yes. Organ sound, keyboard, we can get organ sound on keyboard and we can play it anywhere. For me. I think it's 7:35. Oh, 5:30 to 7. That's what I'm saying. Oh, okay. So I'm going to be fasting this only. So I was saying organ sound can be played anywhere, not necessarily in church. Clubhouse, if you have been there, you hear different hymns playing in the clubhouse. What do they use? Organ sound. And you will see them come and me, if I may use that word, going into trance and in the clubhouse, and kind of even some sect in the gospel and the churches. In our church, they go into trance, even in the club. They will have to pack some ladies out that have come and it happens in the club. So organ sound can be played anywhere, can be played anywhere. And let's consider that as well. And we have limited time. On the, what again? The Igbo music. I think the justice has been made on that. I don't have to say much on that again because of our time. And on this note, I want to thank everyone, the presenters, the contributors, the audience, and our engineers, our technical crew. I want to thank each and every one of us for making this a positive deliberation. So thank you all, and God bless. We now come to the end of the session. You're welcome. Bye, everyone.